Alright, so before I begin, I'll just make sure that all the audio stuff is correct, so give me a quick second. Sorry. Man, it's been a while since I've last done this, so you're gonna have to forgive me for some blunders here and there. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, not that. Let me just check if all the audio stuff is all right, because I'm going to be slightly away from my mic. All right, how's this going to go? Okay, BGM's a bit too loud, so I'm gonna set that down a bit. There we go. All right. How about now? Yep, alright, should be fine. Alright. Yeah, I was just waiting for the music to loop and I could figure things out. But yeah, that works. Everything works fine, so yeah. Let me just put everything back in order. Alright, so yeah, it's been a while. Last time I streamed was like beginning of, well, second week of December, where I did the charity stream, which is nice to be back for some stuff. So yeah, but yeah, welcome to our final color change of the color change live stream series. I completely forgot how to do anything. But yeah. So welcome to the final of the color change live stream series. This is the Erdnase change, or the Houdini change. It is a very popular move, and over the course of our live stream or video, if you see it edited afterwards, I'll cover the history of the move, the mechanics of the move, what I didn't like about it, and how I tried to improve it. So you'll see each step of the development up until not up until now. I'll show you like a couple of the developments of this move. So I won't show you everything, but I'll show you how I first got the move rolling. So yeah. But actually, you know what? I'll do a brief. I'll see if I can do a brief change over here, just to see if I can actually nail it live, like so. So that's what the change actually looks like, and yeah. But yeah, without further ado, let's go into our history section for the Erdnase / Houdini color change, because both are relevant to the change itself. So like every magic move, the history of this move is sort of a mess. I mean, it is relatively simpler, but every magician has their own input on, no, this guy didn't create it, this guy created it. But this move is sort of the same, because this move is sort of very clustered in terms of history. I mean, there's two main sources that this move actually come from. So the first one is the Magician's Handbook by P.T. Selbit, that was published back in 1901. So that was published under the name of New Color Changes Fourth Method. So it's the exact same mechanics as the Erdnase change that you see nowadays. The only difference is this move is actually credited to Harry Houdini, and it was published 1 year before Erdnase. So yeah, I'll quote Mr. Selbit. So, quote, "For the knowledge of the move, I am indebted to my friend Mr. Harry Houdini," unquote. And that's how this move became known as the Houdini change. But what's funny is that Harry Houdini actually became mad at P.T. Selbit for publishing the move, because Harry Houdini didn't actually want P.T. Selbit to publish this move. So he was actually angry, so yeah. The other source of this move that, well, most people actually associate with this move is, well, the Expert at the Card Table, published by S.W. Erdnase, and back in 1902, so 1 year after P.T. Selbit's publication. So in this book, the Erdnase change is known as Transformations Two Hands First Method. So again, a very long name. Back then, people didn't have like abbreviated names; they just had like giant titles. But because this was published by Erdnase, this is how this move became known as the Erdnase change. And yeah, I just found it really interesting that people just found the move name. Yeah, I just found it really interesting that people found this particular move and was like, yeah, this is the Erdnase change, because we normally associate, like, we normally shorten the move names for the poster boy moves, but I find the other transformations. So you might notice that it says transformations to hands first method. There are a couple of other methods in the book. I find those other transformations a bit more interesting than the Erdnase change, but again, so I'm kind of interested to see how this actually became the poster boy Erdnase change move. But yeah. So it's pretty clear from publication history that Houdini's publication, well, pre-existed Erdnases, right? So clearly we should be calling this the Houdini change rather than the Erdnase change, right? But some magicians actually argue that the move existed before Harry Houdini, and they provide two pieces of evidence for it. Well, the first one is note P.T. Selbit's language. So he never outright stated that Harry Houdini created the move, only that he shared the move with him, right? So that's one piece of evidence, apparently. The second piece of evidence is that the moves were published a year apart. Now it's highly likely that, Erdnase saw Harry Houdini's publication, was like, yeah, I'm a yoink that for my own book, because a huge part of Erdnase's publications, they're uncredited. So it might be possible that Erdnase saw Harry Houdini's publication and was like, I'm gonna yoink that. So that's another thing. But what if, and this is just an argument that people use, what if this move existed before both of them, and that's how they were published within like a year of both of them, right? So and that's how they were sorry, I can't English. And that's how they were published like within such a short like time gap. It's because the move existed like before them. I don't really I don't really have any thoughts on this. I think that, depending on the person, they might subscribe to one theory more than the other, but honestly, in terms of publication history, I would just give it to Harry Houdini. We know that from history wise, Harry Houdini didn't only do magic. He was mostly known for being an escape artist, but we know that he actually liked doing card magic as well, even if that's not his like staple. So I think it is pretty likely that Harry Houdini actually, came up with the move. Even if someone came up with it beforehand, I also wouldn't be surprised, because, card magic is, everyone just recreates the same things over and over, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's a thing. But anyways, since those two publications, there had been a whole bunch of other handlings and variations. So one of them in particular is it comes from Ed Marlowe. He came up with the Marnase change from The Last Hierophant, published back in 1980 by John Racker-Baumer. So that's actually an outjogged Erdnase change. So that's pretty interesting. The other, so if in case you didn't know this, Marnase is Marlowe and Erdnase combined together. The other change that I want to point out is the Hurricanes change by Harry Levine. So that is pretty much a refinement for the Erdnase change, and that came from the Trapdoor issue 42 by Steve Beam back in 1992. So that's pretty recent. The other, something else that I want to point out is that I actually found this video through, I was still studying in CGIP, or college. But the trailer for it came out while I was in class. So that is ACP by Semjon Sidanov back in 2019. So you can definitely tell that this move has a lot of impact throughout Magic history, because there's so many variations. I just pointed out 3 of them, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So there's so much more of it throughout like Magic literature, and you can still see it being used in social media and books. It's just everywhere nowadays. So yeah, this has been a pretty influential move. All right, so let me just remove my face. There we go. All right, without further ado, let's get into I don't know what that is. Okay, yeah. But without further ado, let's get into the basic mechanics of the Erdnase or the Houdini change. For simplicity's sake, I'll just call it the Erdnase change because that's what everyone else calls it. But you know, if you say Houdini change, that's not wrong either. All right. I mean, I know at this point Houdini came up with it, but you know, I'll just popular speak, let's just say. So you're going to start off with a double turnover. So you're going to get a pinky break beneath of 2 cards, and then through your favorite method, you're just going to turn over the 2 top cards, like so. All right. So now, now you have a double, as in like every other, card change that I taught. Your right hand goes over the face of the deck, palm down and fingers closed. Notice how this actually covers most of the deck, right? I mean, I know that, you know, for people with smaller hands, this might not cover the entire deck, but, you know, it covers most of the deck. So I know we all have different hands, but I'll actually reference the different areas where your hand should be at, right? So I'll just turn the deck off this side. So I'll elevate the deck. So just so that you can see, the fat of my thumb as well as the end of my palm is slightly beneath of the bottom short edge of the deck over here. So normally, so you can see that this is where it should normally rest at if my camera would focus. So it's over here, right? Next is the joints of my fingers over here. The base of my fingers or the top of my palm, it should be a bit more than halfway through the deck. So this is the halfway point. It's just slightly above of it. All right. And then my third phalange, so this segment over here. So my third phalange of my finger should be slightly above of the front edge of the deck over here. All right. So those are the 3 general areas of where your hand should be. Again, this is just for reference. It will be different for your hands, but this is just generally how my hands are aligned and how it's covering the top of the deck, like so. All right. So now what happens is that my right hand covers, my right hand contacts the top card. All right. So it just contacts it. It doesn't even need to apply pressure. Just friction will make the move work. Now, you'll notice that what's contacting is well the bumpiest part of my hands, right? So it includes the joints of my hands and maybe a part of the base of my thumb. So these 2 parts contact the deck. So you can see it's mainly here and here that contact the front of the deck, the top of the deck rather, like so. All right, so you're just going to contact it, and now you can just push the card forward. So if you move your right hand forward, you'll see that the top card goes along with it, and this is just pure friction, right? Because if you apply any more pressure, you'll see that actually smears this deck forward, which you don't want. So you just want to just contact it and use friction to just push one card forward, right? And you're going to continue pushing it forward. Actually, you know what? Okay. Before I get into that part, as you push this card forward, your index finger is also going along with the ride. So I'll remove my palm. So when I push this card forward, my index finger remains in contact with the front edge of this card over here. And this is important because when you're covering everything, the fact that your index finger is here makes it seem like the entire deck is still beneath of it, right? So if I have this and then I push this card forward, now it looks like nothing. Well, now it looks like nothing's changed because my index is still in full view. But if my index was here and then I push this card forward and suddenly it's gone, now it looks a lot more jarring. So I want my index finger to remain there to make it seem like the entire deck is still beneath of this one card. All right. So your index finger follows along. And now you notice that because I push my entire right hand forward along with this top card, you'll notice that now the bottom of my palm, as well as, okay, there we go. As well as the fat of my thumb is now resting directly on top of this exposed card. So now, okay, you know what? So now, again, with no pressure and just friction, your right hand pulls backwards. So if it just relaxes, you can just contact this exposed card with the fat of your thumb and the base of your palm. So now when you relax it and contacts it, your right hand can just pull backwards and the card will get dragged along with it. And again, this is just from, I don't know how to detail this because it's pretty hard to expose this. So this is what happens. The base of your palm actually contacts the back of this card, right? And I'll just visualize it. So this is what happens. It's going to get dragged outwards like so. And as it gets dragged outwards, your index finger is going to push this card in until it gets flush with the other cards, all right? And it's going to push this card in at the same rhythm, at the same pace as this card is getting dragged outwards. So it's going to go at the exact same rhythm, all right? Because here's well, if one part goes too fast or one part goes too slow, right? So for example, this card goes way too fast outwards, then you're going to expose that this card is actually outjogged. But if you actually push in this card too fast before you're done extracting this card, you won't have time to actually fully extract this card. This card will still be trapped in there. So you want the push in of this top card and the extraction of this card to be at the exact same pace. So it's going to be a pull back as you kick this card in. All right. If my camera would focus, sorry. Let me do this. Let me just switch to this mode. Here we go. Like so. All right. So now you're going to pull, okay, so I'll resume. So you're going to pull this card backwards, and as you do so, your index kicks this card in. All right. So by now, this card should be pretty much all the way out. And now, once the top card is, once the top card is square with the rest of the deck, this card should be basically more than halfway out of the deck. And now what you're going to do is that you'll notice that this card is still trapped in the deck. So you're going to want to clear it out of the deck, and to do so, you're going to move your right hand to the right. And as you move your right hand to the right, your pinky is actually going to lower in the deck, so it's going to go downwards into the deck, because if it still stays there, still stays curled into the deck, it's going to remain trapped. So you want to clear your pinky, which gives space for this card to move to the right. All right. So once this card is off to the right and it's sort of in this position, your pinky is going to raise upwards, and it's going to and its nail is going to contact the back of this card over here. All right. So now this card is being pinched in between of the nail of this pinky and the palm of my right hand, like so. All right. So now, so now it just floats above of my pinky, like so. All right. So you can hear that because I'm using the nail of my pinky, there's basically no friction involved. But, sorry. You can sort of hear it, but yeah. But if I use the pad of my pinky, it sort of gets stuck there. You won't get any fluidity. So it's nice to use the nail of your pinky. So then it just drifts around like so. All right. So now that you're going to do so, now that your card is free from the top card like so, I actually like doing the now you can execute the change. So personally, I like doing the change in a triangle shape. So how you actually see the change is it goes from here to here to here. So that's sort of what I mean by it goes in triangular shape. So you ride the card up from the left pinky, and you're going to glide this card on top of the nail of your left ring finger and your left middle finger as well. So it's going to glide on top of these other fingers in a straight line, like so. and then it's going to go to the left, where it's going to slide off of these fingers, and then it's going to land on top of the deck, like so. All right. And after it lands on top of the deck, your index, thumb, and these other left fingers are going to square this card up with the rest of the deck, so then it looks like nothing was added on or nothing was taken off, so it looks like this is the exact same. And this happens as your right hand is covering the entire deck. All right, and now to finish off, I like to go swipe my hand off from the top left corner to the bottom right corner, like so. So it goes from, so I'll deal without the card, so it goes from, it rides here, goes to the left, and then pulls away in a diagonal fashion. So this is just a stylistic choice because, I mean, I think it just looks nice. It looks like this card changes without your right hand ever covering the entire deck, but it happens already. It happened already, right? So it looks like this card sort of changes, like so, without your hand ever covering the entire deck, like so, right? Because I've seen people who do like this, and I don't think it ever looks nice, or they do it from, or they do it from the side, but I just don't think it has the same effect as you do the change and you pull away diagonally, right? That was a vanish. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, and that's the change. And to clean up, you can just do another double turnover. So sorry, these cards are warped. So to clean up, you can just do another double turnover, or you can do a KM move. So you can just do a KM move. I'm not going to teach it over here, but you're going to be left with a single card. All right. So that's the Erdnase change. It's basically just an extraction of the card, and then you just replace it back on top of the deck. All right. So again, all of this should be done with just pure friction. There shouldn't be any sort of pressure involved. You just have to lightly just contact the card and just do everything through pure friction. And yeah, that's the Erdnase change. So now we can move on to a couple of tips regarding the Erdnase change. So if you actually hear a click, so I'll put the deck closer to the mic. So if you actually hear a click when the card clears the top card, so this actually happens mostly during here. So when you hear this click, that's because you changed the plane of the deck and the card, causing the card to actually snap off of this card. All right, so how you actually fix this is relatively simple. So make sure that until this card clears the deck, make sure that the card and the deck stays on the same plane. So make sure that these two cards are flat against one another and not bent like so. Because when you bend your right hand, this also bends this right card, which causes this to just snap. All right, so make sure that you're aware of that as well. All right. There's another subtlety where you actually, when you're done extracting the card, you actually tilt your right hand downwards, so then this card is actually resting on the bottom short edge of the deck, like so. And what this does, it makes it so that, you know, it looks like your right hand is hovering above of the deck. But in real, because I mean, it's sort of like a tilt or a depth illusion, where if you cock your wrist downwards a bit, or it looks like there's more space in between of the two hands, right? So in reality, it's making like some weird L shape over here. All right. So this is what it actually looks like. Yeah, this is actually a better angle. So this is what it actually looks like, and then you can execute the change as per usual. All right, so this brief little subtlety is from Robbie Moreland, who added it to his cloud change, which you could, sorry, I can't English. So this is a subtlety that Robbie Moreland added to his cloud change, which you should check out. There we go. So yeah, this is just a brief little thing where it looks like your right hand is hovering above of the deck, like so, right? So I'm trying to find a good angle, like so, right? So yeah, those are just 2 tips for the Erdnase color change. 1 subtlety and 1 tip, 1 actual tip. Sorry, give me a second. Alright, now we can go into the main part of the video. The part where people actually don't tell you about, the part where people actually shy away from, and that is telling you how this move is flawed. Because most people just teach you the mechanics and that's it. But I want you guys to actually think about a move, and this is how I'm going to make you think about it. I'm going to point out its flaws. So there's actually a couple of flaws that I want to point out. There's 3 main flaws that I found with the Erdnase color change, and that is, well, I don't know why I popped up my face. Get this face up with my, there we go. So here are the 3 main flaws that I found with the Erdnase color change. You have to wave your hand over the deck twice, right? You have to wave your hand once, extract a card from the center of the deck, and then another to actually just replace the card to change it, right? I mean, calling it a change is a bit of an overstatement because this is not a wave. This weird thing is definitely not a wave. The change itself is a wave, but the extraction itself is definitely not a wave. But I mean, well, regardless of that, when you think about methods, you should always think about, well, how would this look if I had actual magical abilities, right? I mean, I wouldn't do this one weird push and then this one weird pullback and then a nice wave, right? Realistically, it would just be a nice wave, right? So obviously we don't have actual magical powers, so we have to compromise, but just sort of give it some thought. How would you actually streamline the extraction? All right, so just think about that. The second flaw that I found with the Erdnase change is that there is actually a visible push forward of this card. No matter how much you try to lessen this push forward, there will always be a visible push forward, right? So even if you add the index subtlety, there will still be this weird push forward. So that's another flaw. So how would you eliminate that? And then the third flaw of that is that, well, this is just for certain people, but some people like to put the card deep into their palm, so it looks like this, and that way they can actually show their fingers as being empty. So now they have their hand actually sprawled open, and they can display this card, this change as being done open-handedly. There's a big problem with that, and that is, well, why does your hand go so forward to execute the change, right? Because realistically, if you actually had magical powers, you would be able to execute the change with your fingers, right? Without having your hand so forward, you would be able to execute the change with just these fingers, right? It would just change like so. But instead, you have to move your entire hand forward, which I think actually looked even more odd, because now you have your sprawled hand, and now you have to move your entire hand forward for the change to be executed. All right? So that is another flaw of the move, but obviously it's not a built-in flaw. That's just a personal flaw for people who actually do the move this way, right? So here's just a brief side note. If you really think about it, the Erdnase change is just a really bad version of the side still color change. If you don't know what the side still color change is, I don't know if I can actually do it. You have to forgive me for doing some. Oh, that's bad. It's so bad. But yeah, I don't really do it. But basically, it's the same core mechanics as the Erdnase color change. If you really think about it, you steal a card from the center of the deck. Well, one is from the second from top, but same general gist. And then you add the card to the top of the deck to seemingly change it. The main difference is that the card actually never goes from full palm. The main difference is that the card never goes into full palm for the Erdnase change, right? It always just sort of hovers there in your right palm, right? Whereas with the side still color change, which I guess you can do from which I guess you can do from a second from top position. Oh boy. Whereas from the side still color change, it actually goes into a full classic palm, right? So the Erdnase change is basically the side still color change, but the Erdnase change just has a really bad way to steal a card, right? Because it just steals it from the back, which is not something that most people do. Whereas the side still color change, you actually steal it from the side, which I think actually has a lot more justification, because you can just place the deck off to the side and then you're palming the card, right? So the Erdnase change just is flawed in mechanics, because already you're stealing the card from the back, which is something that most people wouldn't do, and also the steal and the replacement needs to be done consecutively, right? It has to be done in a row. You have to steal the card, and then you have to replace the card for it to be called the Erdnase color change. Whereas the side steal color change, you can break the steal, right, and the replacement into two distinct parts, right? So you can display this or whatever, and then you can do the change, right? So you can separate the replacement and you can separate the steal and the replacement into two distinct moments, making the discrepancies less obvious for the side steal color change. And so the Erdnase color change by nature is heavily flawed. So just think about that. So if you really want to use it, I mean, you have to take these things into consideration. And so yeah, just think about that. I don't know what else to say about it, but yeah. So now I'll be doing something that I rarely do on this channel, and that is I'll walk you through how I try to improve the move over the years. I'll only be showing you the first 3 stages of development of the move, and that is so that you can understand how I thought about this move for the first couple of times, first couple of stages of development, and 2, you can understand that, well, things take time. You can't just learn a move and then toss it aside. You have to understand that things go through several changes, and that, you know, it goes through like a very non-linear path of progression before even being presentable. So yeah. And also note that all the ones that I'm about to do share the same core mechanics of the Erdnase change, right? Part of the reason why I'm also not sharing like the other stages of stages of development of the Erdnase change is because, well, some of those stages don't use Erdnase stuff. They use stuff inspired by other people, which I don't think I can actually share here. So the following stuff are going to share the same core mechanics as the Erdnase change. So yeah. But without further ado, let's take a trip down memory lane and see how I gradually try to improve the Erdnase change. All right. So the first development is, well, everything starts off and works the exact same as the standard Erdnase change. But yeah, so all of the following mechanics are to sort of combat how would you eliminate this push forward, right? Because as of right now, that's not really the most visible flaw, but that's the most tangible flaw, right? Where you can always see this card being pushed forward. So how would you eliminate that? Well, from back then, I thought up of one method, and that is, if you can't push something forward, then you should push it backwards. So contact the top card, again, as per usual, with your right hand. And again, it's just pure friction, no pressure. And now your right hand pulls this card slightly backwards until just this brief lip forms. And now, this is where it's relevant, your index finger sort of wraps around this lip without the top card, like so. And now it can just kick everything backwards. All right. And again, the top card doesn't move because it's being held there with pure friction. So now, if you just kick everything backwards, Is this an actual live or scheduled video? It is actually live. So yeah. So if you have any questions by the end of this, feel free to ask. And yeah. So, anyways, where was I? Sorry. Yeah, sometimes, sorry, my monitor's off to the other side, so I can't really see all the comments all the time. But yeah. Now where was I? So I'm gonna pull this card backwards. So this card is being held in position by your right hand. So this card is being anchored down basically with just pure friction. So now your index finger, your left index finger, is holding everything below of this top card. All right, below of this top card, which allows you to just kick everything backwards. And by kicking everything backwards, so this is how you're left in now, you are putting yourself in the exact same position as the standard Erdnase change, except that you're, rather than bringing your right hand to this bottom card, to the second from top card, you are bringing this second from top card to the palm of your hand. And then you can execute the Erdnase change as per usual via just squaring up the top card and then doing the Erdnase change. All right, so that's the first development. You just kick everything below of this card backwards. All right, so that was how that was how I first tried to tackle the push forward. All right, the second development is, well, works on the same principle as this first development, except that kicking the entire deck backwards is really unoptimized if you really think about it, because you only need this card over here. So why would you kick the entire deck backwards? So that's where the second part of the development comes into play, is what if you only kicked part of the deck backwards? So it's going to be the same mechanics as the first one, where you slightly pull this card backwards to expose this this lip. But instead of applying even pressure with your index to kick the entire deck backwards, you're going to just curl in the first phalange of your index. So just this little bit over here. And by doing so, you're going to bevel the deck. All right, so now you have a nice bevel. Everything, but the front edge of the deck at the bottom is still relatively in line with this top card over here. All right, it's just everything that's below of the top card is beveled or kicked backwards, right? Also, I just realized I didn't get a double. There we go. So if I pull this card backwards and I just curl in my first phalange, everything just kicks backwards like so, and now you have a bevel like so. But now you're in the exact same position as the first development, where you're exposing this second card without needing to push everything forward. So now you can just execute the Erdnase change as per usual and square up the front edge of the deck with your index finger. And then, yeah, that's the exact same thing, except that you don't have to kick the entire deck backwards. So again, that's another development I did for the Erdnase change. All right. But you can sort of see where this is going, I hope, is that, well, why would I kick the entire deck backwards if I only need this card over here? So if pushing the deck forward isn't the answer and pushing backwards isn't the answer, then maybe pulling backwards is. And that's where this third development comes into play. So you're going to execute the double turnover as per usual. And as your right palm actually covers the top of the deck, like so, underneath of that cover, you're going to get a pinky break beneath of this top card. So you're going to get a pinky break above of the hidden card. And now you're going to get a deep pinky break. So you're going to stick in your entire pinky, so then the pad of it actually wraps around the deck and contacts the card below of the pinky break, like so. And what this gives you the opportunity to do is that now, if you just pull your pinky backwards, you get an in jog. this nice in-jog over here means that now, oops, I pulled another card backwards too. What this nice in-jog means now is that you're in the prime position to execute the Erdnase color change. And you didn't even need to contact the rest of the deck. Well, you didn't need to move the rest of the deck. All you did was you moved one card backwards. Alright, so this is, that is another development for the Erdnase change. Rather than moving the entire deck, just move one single card. Is that the answer? Well, who really knows? But, yeah. So, that was it. Those were the 3 developments for the Erdnase change. Well, those were the first 3 developments that my Erdnase change has gone through. I am still actively developing it, but for now, I'll leave you these 3 breadcrumbs as to where the Erdnase change has gone through. Right? It's not because I don't want to expose all my knowledge. I mean, if I ever meet you in real life, I would gladly like share my knowledge and whatnot, but it's because there's really no point in you arriving at the same conclusion as I have, right? Because, well, all our brains are different. We go through different experiences, you learn through different things, and you know, if I just feed you everything, you wouldn't go through the same journey as I have of, well, thinking, how would I refine this move? How would I try to improve this move, right? So I want you guys to arrive at your own conclusions. Again, your way of thinking is different from mine, and I can't always spoon feed you information. So I'll leave you with this final development of in-jogging the card below of the selection, so then nothing about this changes, and they could just execute the Erdnase change as per usual. So think about your style, think about your current knowledge, and think about how you, and not how I, well, Curtis, would actually do this move. And I think you'll be actually actively surprised by how far you can take this move. So again, feel free to always fiddle around with your moves, and don't just learn things and just perform them as you learn, because there's a lot that you can take away from just actively thinking about moves. All right. I have a question. Do you have any solution for the middle ring and pinky finger? For some reason, it can't make it stay still when doing the Erdnase change. Which middle ring and pinky finger? You mean the left middle ring and pinky fingers? Because I mean, they sort of have to move, especially for, well, your pinky in particular. It has to move because this card needs to clear out this particular edge. But if you're having the left, the dealer hand, I mean, yeah, it has to have some sort of micro movement. But if you're actually having way too much, trouble, like it actually like actively shows, I don't believe it should show, because all of these fingers should be hidden beneath of your right hand. So it's kind of hard to, I don't know, because I mean, I know for a fact that your pinky has to move out of the way for this, but for other fingers, I don't know. I really can't stay still, because realistically only your pinky should move, because that's the only finger that should that needs to move for this card to be extracted outwards. Because the way that I extract this card is that it goes backwards and then it goes to the right, so my pinky follows along with it, and these two fingers don't actually do anything, and then just sort of rides on top of it. I don't know. I don't know why. Oh yeah, my bad. I meant the middle and the ring. I don't really have any tips for it, because usually I just sort of pin it to the side of this, because there's really no reason for these fingers to move in my case. So if I just leave them pinned off to the side, they just stay there, and then it just rides on, and I just let this card ride on top of it. Can you because if you manage to pinpoint the exact problem of why these fingers actually flare out, I think it would be easier for me to tell you what the issue with it is. Right. I mean, even if it moves, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. I mean, even if your middle and ring finger move, it shouldn't be that big of an issue, because your right hand is covering most of your fingers, right? So if your right hand is here, and I leave my middle and ring finger aren't contacting the deck, so this is what it actually looks like right now, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because my right hand is covering it, right? But if you're actually don't I'm actually not sure, but yeah, usually I would just like leave it pinned there. It's not a major movement, but a subtle twitch. Sorry, let me try and understand what you're talking about. I really don't. I mean, hold up. Maybe that subtle twitch is coming from you wanting to I don't know, maybe it's just your is your right hand brushing over it, or is your, because I mean, the way that I think humans in general, if you move one finger, the other fingers want to sort of follow along with it. So maybe that could be it, and it's not really something that could be easily fixed. I don't know, how subtle is your twitch? Because I think it shouldn't matter too much as long as your right hand actually just covers it. But man, I don't know. Because the only reason why my ring finger or middle finger would actually just move is because if my right hand actually just hits these fingers. But besides that, they remain more or less just pinned against the right side of the deck. So I'm actually not too sure. I mean, if you can send a video on Instagram, I think that'll be yeah, I think if you send in a video through Instagram, I think I'll have an easier time looking at it, because actually don't know how major or what's causing the your current problem. Sorry, because yeah, it's yeah. Oh, okay. Anyways, moving on from well, not moving on. I mean, again, you could just feel free to DM me on Instagram and I'll gladly help you, but it's kind of hard to do this while I'm doing this. But yeah, so moving on to the application section of the Erdnase change. So there are 4 applications. One is obviously the color change. I mean, that's what I've been teaching you guys for the past, like, I don't know, 50 minutes. You can also do the move as a production. So if you have the card second from top actually reversed and you just do the Erdnase change, you can just have a card produced, right? And if you just have a card on top face up with just a single card and you just do a Erdnase change, this can act as a vanish. All right, there are some people who like to do the move with the card up jogged, like so, and then it just vanishes, right? So people would attribute that to Daniel Madison and his half vanish, where he does like this thing, right, and he just does this wipe thing, which I guess that would be this middle finger solidity would be from Daniel Madison, but I guess in total it would actually be from Marlowe. Marlowe actually had a section called the Erdnase change as a vanish. So yeah, I think that generally this is from Marlowe. So again, this is just a top card, face up card with a reversed, with a face down second from top card. And yeah, it can just act as a vanish if you want. And here's an application that I don't know why anyone would do this, but if you do the move with the cards face down, it can be done as a switch. So if I have the Queen of Diamonds on top of the deck, and I just did the Erdnase change, I switched it for the 6 of Hearts. Which again, I don't know why anyone would do this, but maybe you have a card up jog. So if you have the 6 of Hearts over here and you just switched it, right? Maybe that could work. But again, this is just a brief idea, trying to fill in the quota for whatever. But yeah, that's that for the applications. Just some fun ideas for you to play around with, right? And now we've reached the end of our journey. We've reached the further reading part. So if you want to learn more about the Erdnase change, there's so many resources out there. I'll just pinpoint some of the changes that are Erdnase-esque as well. All right. So there's obviously the Expert at the Card Table by S.W. Erdnase, Hierophant by John Rackerbaumer. It's sold as a PDF. Or ebook. There's Kabbalah Volume 2 by John Rackerbaumer. That's an ebook as well. There's Confident Deceptions by Jason Ladany. A Walk in the Clouds by Robbie Moreland, which I referenced back in the tips section. There's the Zoso Change by Doc Doherty. There's the Talk About Tricks, there we go, by Joshua J. And there's the Yoann Fontaine Patreon, which there he teaches the Hurricane Change by Harry Levine, because the Trapdoor magazine by Steve Beam is no longer in print, so you can go ahead and check those out. But yeah, what a journey this has been. I mean, I'm still actively working on this move, like I said, and I think at this point the change that I think where the change is at this point is so far removed from the Erdnase change that I can't even call it the Erdnase change anymore. So yeah, but anyways, it's fun to work on a move. I mean, it's fun to find flaws in the move and change it to something that suits your palette. And again, we don't have actual magical powers because, well, we're human. So, you know, we have to find ways to compromise, and all of our compromises are different from one another. All right. So yeah, it's just I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, because all our brains are different. So maybe you'll find flaws with developments that I presented in the video, or you'll find other flaws with the move that I didn't have with the Erdnase change, right? So we might have all the same starting point, but you know, our destinations and our journeys are all going to be completely different. So I can't wait for you guys to actually, you know, maybe tinker with the move, right? You don't actually have to place like, I don't know, like 10 years of work into the Erdnase change. I didn't place that much time into it, but you know, I'm really excited to see what you guys have are going to bring with this change. So yeah, that's going to be it. And stay healthy, stay safe, and see you guys. Wait, hold up. Actually, I got this in the I got this in the mail yesterday. So this is the ARC playing cards. Yeah, I had it off to the side, but I was gonna end it because I was just like, I want to eat lunch. But this is the I can't Mandarin this, so this is the Shanhai playing cards by ARC playing cards, which look really nice over here. It also came with this nice plastic case, which is nice for decks like this, because this thing is just massive, and most normal plastic cases for decks would not fit with this. So I guess I'm going to do a live unboxing as well. So yeah, so you can see that it has this nice ARC cellophane wrap over here, this nice tear strip over here, and yeah, let's just hope it works, I guess. Please work. I think it was here, right? Oh boy. There we go. Oh, nice, it works. And there we go, a clean tear. I mean, not really clean. You can actually see that there's like a lip over there. But yeah, pretty excited to open this. All right. So you can see that there's 4 distinct segments. This is a nice matte tuck case, and you can see there's some embossing over it. So there's some protruding texture out of the deck, out of the card case. Number 868. So, oops, sorry, I gotta let this focus in. I just realized that. Okay, there we go. So number 868 out of 2,222, which is a fair bit of a printing number. So this is the front of the tuck case. Very nice. So I can't speak Mandarin, I'm Cantonese. So Shanhai would be mountain and sea or ocean. So in Cantonese that would be Sanhoi. It's a different pronunciation, as you can tell. And the deck in general is inspired by the Sanhoi King, which is mountain and ocean, mountain and sea scriptures. So that's what this deck is inspired by. So you can see the amount of details throughout this deck, which is quite nice. So yeah, let's just take a look at. I actually don't. Wait, is this? Oh, okay. So this is actually a slip tuck. Interesting. You can see that inside there's actually these patterns over here, which is quite nice. So yeah, let's just take a look at this. So you can tell even more embossing, even more details over here. And the reason why I actually backed this Kickstarter is that it actually opens up like so. This is so nice. Is that it opens up into this block over here. So you can tell, you can sort of see the pips over here. So this is a spade over here. This is a heart. This is clubs, and this is diamonds, like so, right? And if we actually reverse it, you get this nice mural, I guess, to some degree, right? This nice image over here. And you could tell that if you actually bought more than one deck, this actually connects. So this line actually leads to this one, I believe, and these words actually connect with this, I believe. I think so. Yeah, this is a very nice tuck case. The way that they store cards is that each suit has its own segment, which I'm kind of annoyed by, but I mean, usually I just like dumping cards out, but hey, who cares? So we just kick everything out over here, like so. These are the diamonds. Over here, you can see this nice, all of the pips are custom, it seems. Over here, if my camera would focus, seems like it's not doing that a whole bunch nowadays. You can tell that the diamonds, each of these pips are completely different, and you could tell that there is a custom font with custom indices. Ooh, nice. Custom art and an ad card. I'll show you the backs later, but I'll show the faces for now. All right. There we go. The clubs as well. So again, all of these are custom with custom art. I mean, oh, that's a Kieran or a Caitlin, I think. And yeah, another ad card over here. Our last, our hearts are over here. So you can tell this is a bird. The, I think, are these? I don't think so, are they? No, they're not. They're just phoenixes. Okay, so here you just have hearts. Very nice stylized hearts, like so. And you have, yeah, just some mythical beasts. You can tell just how intricate all these are. So this is painted with actual Chinese ink, which is nice, right? And our last suit over here are spades. So they're just the same general thing. So these are obviously not meant for magic or for you have a nine-tailed you have a fox over here. You can obviously tell that these are not meant for gameplay or for magic or for cardistry. These are meant for art and collecting exclusively. But I love my art, so that's that. So if we take out the two ad cards, let me see if I can combine them. We can combine these two ad cards to form one giant painting, basically, like so. Quite nice. So yeah, and then you have these two other ad cards, right? But if we combine all of these, we get our back design, like so. I think I assembled it in the wrong order. Sorry. Did I? No, they're in the right order, I think. This is our back design over here. Yeah, very intricate again. Okay. So I can't really record any video for now, but the problem seems to be that my ring finger moves when pinky finger moves. I think that's just a very natural thing to do, because I mean, even my ring finger moves when my pinky sort of goes along with it, right? So I mean, I think that's just a human error. I mean, I don't think there's any sort of way you can actually fix it. I mean, you can try stretching, because I mean, at its core, our tendons are all sort of connected with one another, so you can't really get rid of that. But if the twitch is really, really bad, I mean, I don't know, maybe maybe try stretching your fingers. So my fingers are actually pretty my pinky actually pretty much functions independently from my ring finger, mainly because I've just done the bottom palm so much. So when I pull down my pinky, this finger mostly doesn't go along with it. So maybe just try stretching your pinky with your ring finger. I don't know, because I mean, again, that's not even like your fault. That's just like a human error. So yeah, don't worry about it, because all our tendons are connected regardless of how it works. All right. Because yeah, we have a tendency to, I mean, just human error wise, we have a tendency to move one finger and then the rest actually just follows along. So it's, I mean, if it's just a slight twitch, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. I mean, it's not like we can completely override ourselves. But yeah, back to these cards. So if you actually notice, well, first off, I'll introduce the first mechanic of this deck, besides just this beautiful back design. It's that if you actually just riffle through the deck, you can see that it changes. So I'll try and get a good look at this. So if you actually do this, you actually see that the background actually moves along with it, like so. So it is a flipbook style deck. So that is the first thing about this deck. The second one is, if you actually spread this deck like so, I don't know if I can get a good spread. Wait, it should be straight. Hold up. If you actually spread this deck, you actually get this mural, this painting, the same one. I think that's the same one. The same one as the one on the box, like so. All right. So those are the two things about this deck which make it very, very nice. Obviously you can't curve the spread, because if you curve the spread, the image starts getting a bit distorted, and you have to have like this very specific amount of spread for it to actually work. But yeah, handling wise, this deck feels all right. I mean, it's not too bad. It's not the best, but it holds up pretty nicely. Very soft stock, you can hear. It's very soft, and the cards are relatively thin. So let me compare it with a bicycle deck over here. You can tell that this deck is about maybe it's about 3 cards thinner than a normal bicycle deck. So that's the best measure that I can give for this. And yeah, that's the Shanhai deck. That's just my first impressions of the Shanhai deck, as well as some of the features. So yeah, I mean, it's genuinely a very beautiful deck. Feeling wise, you're probably not going to use this, but I do think that it is it feels all right. I wouldn't say it feels good, but it's a usable deck. But yeah, wait, hold on, what is that here? Hold up, did I screw up the order for this? Huh, it still work even though I screwed up the order? Maybe. Oh no, this deck doesn't come in new deck order. It comes in its own stack. It comes in this weird stack. Okay, well, that's fine. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, I guess. I gotta go. I don't have enough time to eat lunch. That's fine. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, thanks for doing whatever, I guess. Thanks for sticking around for so long and looking at my nonsense. So yeah, but besides that, yeah, stay healthy, stay safe, and see you guys next time. Bye bye. See ya. And yeah, take care.